Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video. I'm truly honored and I'm truly happy to be with you for the next few minutes. My friends, have you noticed that I like to talk about the Middle East more than anything else? Yes, I am a little biased, being from the Middle East myself, but that's not the real reason. The real reason is, ever since I opened my eyes on this earth, has always been something going on, either a war or some general staged a coup somewhere in the country and took over the country. There's always something going on, uh, and the reason for that is very obvious. The Middle East, the geographical location between east and west, the natural resources, especially oil, the critical waterways, uh, the stupidity of the leaders, tribal minds. People just don't think collectively, and uh, they don't think of themselves as one nation. They either live or die together. Uh, Lack of vision. All of these combined, just make for a very, very fragile Middle East. That's what you see all these problems everywhere. Of course, there are other considered major issues, major reasons for that, which I don't want to just talk about it here because I care for this video to make it through. So I will not talk about it. Just imagine, my friend, that I come to you and say today I want to talk about the Bahamas or the great country of Zimbabwe or something like that. You will not be interested. You don't listen to that because because it doesn't affect you as an American. Americans, my experience, care about stuff that affect their lives, things that affect their pocketbook, and unfortunately, the Middle East does. Uh, my friends, as if what's going on now is not enough. What's going on, the standoff with Iran, the what's going on in the Gulf, what's happening in Lebanon. Just yesterday, Israel launched intense airstrikes against the South Lebanon. There has been some deaths and injuries, of course, lots of them, uh, following the militias' attacks on Israeli positions, which reportedly killed scores of Israeli soldiers. I don't know how many, but these clashes have been going on back and forth, and they will continue. Uh, Look what's happening in Sudan and Libya, just very tense situations. In Iraq, we all know, the government is trying to for the militias to hand over their weapons, and the militias in Iraq say, no, we're not going to hand it over. Are we going to see a clash between the militias and the regular Iraqi army? It's possible. That's exactly what's happening in Lebanon between the militias and the government there. Uh, as if all these things are not enough now, we have a new escalation between. It's in the works. I'm not saying a war is going to break out tomorrow. Of course not. But it is a major escalation, and I talked about it in the past. But I want to bring it again to your attention because things can escalate quickly between Egypt and Ethiopia, my friends. Uh, um, but I want you, in the future, if something happens, I want you to say, "Yeah, I remember that guy. He talked about it on social media." To hear it from me. There are no land borders between Ethiopia and Egypt. In fact, the two countries are not even the same religion. In Egypt, they're Muslims. In Ethiopia, I think about 70% of the people there are Christians, believe it or not. So there is nothing common between these two countries. There is one major thing in common, and that is the Nile River, my friends. Uh, Over 90%, maybe 90, even 95% of Egyptians depend on the Nile for their daily lives, for water. I mean, to Egypt, it's a matter of the Nile is a matter of life or death, literally. But what happened in the past, this guy, Prime Minister in Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, he decided to build this dam. They called it the Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Uh, at that time, Egypt and Sudan were furious that he built it. But then, as time went by, they looked the other way when they saw the water supply was not affected very much. But now this guy, and I have a feeling, I have a crazy feeling that somebody else outside influence is telling him what to do. Now he says he wants to build more dams on the Nile. And Egypt is saying this will be catastrophic for Egypt. Uh, and uh, I don't know, the question I have, if Egypt thinks the Nile is so critical to its survival, why can't the Egyptians just come out straight out and tell this guy, Abiy Ahmed, tell him if you build any more dams on the Nile, we are going to blow it up, just straight up. Why do you keep, for how long are you going to keep playing this patience game? Because, as I say, I don't want to accuse any uh, people outside of Ethiopia who's telling him what to do, but I think I know who they are, and they're doing it for a purpose. And I did say in the past that this Nile is going to be uh, one major way to pressure the Egyptians to do things that maybe the West wants them to do. And it's being utilized now, the Nile River, the water supply, the critical water supply. Because what I'm afraid will happen is one day these Egyptians, all 120 million of them, will and in Sudan, Sudan will be affected too if he keeps building these dams. So all these 120 million people in Egypt and I don't know Sudan, what are about 53, 54 million people population there. All these people will wake up one morning and find out that everything they do now will be too little, too late. I hope to see you next time. Bye.